Earlier today, crowds spilled onto the streets here at the intersection of Howard and Columbus. People taking out their cell phones, holding up signs, with hopes to get a faraway glimpse of Vice President Harris. They say it hits personally for them knowing she's visiting their hometown here in New Haven.
I don't even really know what to say. I'm just shaking. I'm so happy to be out here.
Just to have the first African American or a person, a female of color in the office of the Vice President of the United States, that's exciting.
People from surrounding neighborhoods began trickling in, standing outside of the Roberto Clemente Elementary School, eager to find out details of the Vice President's visit. Noontime, a news conference kicked off. Mayor Justin Elliger joined by lawmakers to talk about the exciting day.
This is a big moment for our city and our state.
Senators Richard Blumenthal, Chris Murphy, and Representative Rosa DeLauro applauded the efforts of President Biden and Vice President Harris for kickstarting the American Rescue Plan and child tax credit.
Half the children in Connecticut, 608,000 children who are in poverty. That is a historic accomplishment.
Moments after the news conference, more and more people flooded the streets, the crowd getting so excited, police had to push people back to the sidewalks, eventually putting up police tape. Eventually, Harris arrived at the Boys and Girls Club, waving to the crowd from afar. Accompanied by Education Secretary Miguel Cardona, she greeted everyone with an elbow bump.
I've been hearing all about you.
Harris speaking in depth about the inspiration behind the American Rescue Plan, saying the pandemic has accelerated the challenges being faced by the country.
It is also about their parents. It is about working people. It is about our economy. The connections between childcare and all of these other systems are so direct.
Harris's meeting at the Boys and Girls Club wrapped up after 3 p.m., making a quick exit out of the Elm City. The Vice President left New Haven shortly before 4:30, making West Haven as her next pit stop. Reporting in New Haven, Carmen Chow, Fox 61 News.